Alexa, turn on ceiling lights. Man, oh man. Oh God. This is the worst part of doing these live streams. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. Today, what I am going to be doing is packing up all this stuff. This was a banger of a night last night when it comes to auction sales. Lots and lots of stuff. But today's video, what I am going to be doing is actually introducing you to a rather large seller on social media, DSouza. And I've been actually buying a lot of products from him over the last 4 years. And I decided, even though he is my supplier, I decided to introduce you guys to him anyway, because to be honest with you, I think that he is a very good resource for any of you looking to buy silver and gold and collectibles. And, I just like to shout out my friends every now and then. So why don't we just get right to the interview while I pack all this stuff up.
I am very happy to have with me a friend of mine who I've now known. Believe it or not, it's been over 4 years, Sean. I've got Sean DSouza with me of Fiat Coins. How you doing, buddy?
Great. Good to see you, Stormy.
So
I'm glad it's been what, 3-4 years now?
4 years. 4 years. And I've mentioned you multiple times throughout the time that I've been on YouTube. And truth be told, I view, and I've said this before so many times on my channel, I view everybody aside from me who sells as a competitor. And for me, it's always, like a little bit tricky because you do a lot of sales on Instagram and Facebook. And while I want to promote my friends, at the same time, I don't want to promote them too much because I essentially buy a lot from you and I don't want to necessarily cut myself out, the middleman. But you know what? You and I have done a lot of business over the years together, and I wanted to have you on, and I'm happy to have you here. So thanks for making the time.
You're very welcome.
So I wanted to actually, ask you just some questions here. One of which happens to be about you and your business. How long have you been in the precious metals and coin business? What got you started, so on and so forth, if you don't mind telling the viewers.
Sure. So we've been in the business for about 10 to 15 years now. If you want to go all the way back, it's probably about 20 years. My wife started a jewelry store with her family, and I got into the cash for gold business back in the 2011 era when the gold price was going upwards. And pretty much at that point in time, we used to see a lot of 90% silver, a lot of dimes and quarters come into the store. We were paying, around 30 times face at the time. And, that was crazy. Nobody had seen 30 times face at that point in time. Silver was probably 40, 50 an ounce approaching. Everybody was dumping their 90% bags. Dealers wouldn't even separate it at the time. I mean, they were putting in Barber half dollars and Morgan dollars into the same bags as dimes and quarters. And, you would never see that today. But at that point, 30 times face, $30 for a Morgan or $40 for a Morgan or whatever, people would take that in a heartbeat over what, the silver value that they paid was maybe $15, $20 for it, when they first got it.
Yeah.
So, it was a crazy market at that time. And we really, I was into, jewelry, and I kind of migrated into coins. Like a lot of people in this industry, they evolve and they get into different things. But that's how I started. And, from there, we had a brick and mortar store. We still have it. It's just jewelry now. But when I was there, I was just buying over the counter, and I was doing wheeling and dealing in person. And then a good friend of mine said, "Why don't you start trying to sell on Facebook?" And I was like, "Okay, let me give it a try." And I encountered a lot of resistance. So when I first got onto Facebook, it was kind of a struggle. I didn't have any following. I had, maybe 0 people that were following me at the time, and I really put my heart and soul into trying to gain as many followers as possible. At this time, silver was probably 15, 16 an ounce, and we were selling it maybe a dollar over spot max, but our margins were tiny. We were making 25 cents, 50 cents a coin. We were slinging eagles at like $17 or $18, and people started to catch on that, a lot of these bigger sites were selling at, $20 to $25 on Eagles, and we were still in the teens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I kind of gained my following, is just, trying to underprice the big guys, but still make a name for myself. And eventually I experimented with Instagram, and I met you and some other guys on there that took me in to the community. And I'm very grateful that everyone embraced me initially, because it's tough. It's not hard to, it's really tough to get people to follow you after when you're first starting out. So.
I believe me. I mean, I feel like I'm still starting out. I'm approaching, 28,000 subscribers on YouTube, and while some people would view that as a lot, to me it's tiny, and it still takes a lot of dedication, constant posting. And to your point about Instagram, I mean, you could be posting for quite a long time and get very little traction. But you've definitely built a solid following for yourself on Instagram. And anybody who I've spoken to who has done business with you, I have never heard a negative thing said about you. Not once in the 4 years. And, a lot of people talk, and I've never heard anything negative about you.
Well,
and
like everybody, we all have haters, whether it's, competitors, whether it's, old grumpy guys, that have been in the business forever, who kind of like out on guys like me that are new into the industry. I've met my share of haters, and everyone that's, behind closed doors can kind of see the flip side of that, is that, there's envy and there's jealousy. But, I try to embrace everyone. Even if it's somebody that I don't like or they don't like me, I don't put business between us. I try to get along with and treat even dealers. The problem with a lot of dealers is when they serve other dealers, they either look down on them or they don't treat them like customers and treat them with the same service and respect that you would treat any other human being. And I think that goes a long way. If you treat your customers, all of them, like your best friends, and you give them the best service and the best pricing, sometimes it's not even pricing. And, I talked to Stacking NYC about this when I met him for the first time in person at the ANA show. We had a dinner together. And it's not about the pricing, really. When everything comes down to it, you can undercut pricing, you can try and be the lowest price, but you have to really sell yourself and be a person that everybody likes and to deal with. That's more important than being the cheapest, I think.
I completely agree with you. And, I think that's part of the reason why I feel like my YouTube live sales and auctions, they do well. It's not like what it once was. I mean, now the market is very saturated. I was one of the first ones, I would say almost like 4 years ago, who was actually doing the auctions online. And like you said, people caught on. And now, I mean, we're in a very saturated market. You've got a lot of channels on YouTube doing auctions, Instagram live sales, TikTok live sales. You've got Facebook, you've got Drip, you've got whatnot. Very, very saturated marketplace. And to your point, I think one of the benefits, at least that I have, being that I'm constantly posting videos, people feel like they get to know me. And then when I'm interacting with them live on Instagram, they feel like they get to, on YouTube, they get to know me. I'm reading the chat, I'm joking around with them. But now this is something that I got to say, though. What brings me to my point with you is you're typically posting, at least on Instagram. I can't speak to Facebook because I'm not on Facebook, but you're typically just posting your deals. And sure. I've gotten to know you mainly because I saw your posts. I've purchased things from you, and then just talking behind the scenes, we've gotten to know each other. What I got to say, and I have to commend you on, is the fact that you have been able to build this loyal following, and you're not really, at least from what I can see on Instagram, we don't see you. We don't get to know your personality like I've gotten to know you behind the scenes. And I'm just wondering, are you going to be making any sort of content or anything like that on Instagram or YouTube or something where you are more in the forefront and people get to know you as Sean?
Right. So this is really the beginning of that. And I'm glad that you were you invited me here to, show my face and to get in the public eye and give my personality a chance. Because you can hide behind a computer as long as you want to, but people will never learn who you are, your emotions, and get to see the real you unless you're on the screen, or at least meeting people in person, or that kind of thing. So I do appreciate this invite to the video format, and I'm going to try and do some live sales, even if it's once or twice a week or once a month. I want to try and interact with people a little bit more and get people, really engaging with me on a personal forefront. And I'm going to try and give even better deals on the video sales. I think it's something that, when you put yourself on video, you really get to explore a lot more possibilities. You can do live auctions, and you can really show the product as it is. Because, there's a lot of pictures out there of coins and that kind of thing that kind of show a different view of the coin, and maybe computer graphics or whatever it is. But when you do a live video, you can see the product in front of you. And I think that's important, that there's a full transparency, that everybody gets to see not only the seller, but also the product in its real format, how it is in real life. Because the worst thing is getting something, in hand after you've seen computer models of it being like the best thing in the world, and it's just crap when you get it in person. So
I just had a video that I posted the other day about the new Morgan and Peace Dollar proofs. Actually, I just posted it today, and I had some issues with it. But yeah, to your point, like, people get to see it, and again, they'll be able to interact with you. I think that's going to just drive your business even more. So, are you going to be doing your live sales on Instagram, or are you going to do it on Facebook?
Well,
what do you think?
I've got invites to Whatnot. I might experiment with that. I have such a good Facebook following that I probably could do it on Facebook on my private group. But I kind of want to get more into the public eye and do some kind of public selling on Instagram, just once a week or something like that, and put up maybe 10 items, and quickest spin gets it kind of deal, and get rid of some of the stuff. I have piles of merchandise, just like every dealer out there, just waiting to be sold, and I just kind of want to give it a chance on the video sale end, and kind of see how it goes. I probably need some advice in that particular format, because I've never really done it before.
I'm your guy.
It'll be a big experiment for me. I'm going to try different ways to get it working, but I think after a few tries, I'm sure I'll get the hang of it, and it'll be just like everything else, and maybe you'll see me every day doing it.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I know you have a couple people who help you. And
yes,
there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to do it, every couple of days, as long as you have the help, because very well that one of the things that I hate the most about the business that you and I are in is packing day. I totally hate it. And even, and I'm like,
every day for me, it doesn't stop, but it does help. I have my wife that helps pack. I have my little brother, he comes and packs, and we just hired a guy to list on eBay, and he's been helping with that. So any help, invoicing or whatever it is, I just like selling. If I could just focus on selling, I told Hacking NYC this as well. If we can just be the salesmen and focus on selling, and that's all we have to do, it would be the easiest job in the world.
I know. So. It's like, you got to get to a certain point. I've had people say to me, Stormy, you need an assistant. You need to, hire somebody so you can, have them do, the packing and invoices and everything like that. I'm like, listen, I need more net profits in order to bring on somebody else, and the amount of time you need to train somebody, because I like everything done in a very particular manner,
Sure.
So
letting go of the control, and we're all control freaks to a certain extent. We all like things a certain way, but when you let go of control, you put your trust in somebody else to do the right thing and to pack things the right way. As long as you instruct them in your method, and you kind of give them a heads up of what you want, usually, it's pretty straightforward, and you can watch them on camera if you want to, but eventually you have to let that go as well. I trust my wife. She packs it really well. She invoices everything. We all make little mistakes here and there, but at the end of the day, it's fun. We want to have fun.
No, absolutely. And, going back to some of the things that you sell, I've purchased, quite a few things from you on Instagram, and a wide variety of things. In fact, These coins right here. Let's see if I can get them in camera. The Gangster series. I got these from you. I've
Love that.
In my opinion, it's one of the very best. I got.
Was that the newest one you just showed, the Dillinger, or no?
I didn't get that one from you yet. You're holding back on me right now. I got this from you.
Beautiful.
And I have another one from you. It's back there. I don't know if you can see it. They can't, but it's behind the Darth Vader. It's that one coin that took like that one particular mint a year to get. It was like the tiger.
Yes.
Yep. But which brings me. Yeah. Which brings me to my question now for you, because this is something that you and I have gone back and forth about. It's something that I've spoken to other dealers about, and that is pre-sale versus having products on hand. There's two different, I would say, schools of thought on which is like the better method. And before I hand it over to you to get your take on it, in my opinion, I don't like doing pre-sales because this is just my own neuroses. I don't like having people's funds without having the product and sending it to them right away, because, God forbid if something happens, like, I guess, yeah, you could always refund them, but then I feel like then they could get pissed off and everything. So I'm one of the people that I like to have it in stock before actually selling it. Now, I have done a couple of pre-sales if there's like a hot item coming out or whatever, and I'm like, okay, guy, like, to my personal group, hey, this item is coming out, limited amount. I don't want to necessarily shell out all of the money, because at the same time, you don't want to be left holding the bag. You don't want to buy, 10 of these and then hope that they sell. So I just wanted to get your opinion, because I know you do a lot of pre-selling and it's been very successful for you. So I kind of wanted to get your take on it.
So, I mean, it's just like any process, you have to be very organized with it. I kind of want to give a background of the whole pre-sale process, because when I first got into Facebook, there wasn't really anything such as a pre-sale, and nobody was listing items before they had them in hand. And so I was kind of one of the first guys that experimented with that method of selling. And I started seeing it on AppMax and Jambullion and certain sites. They would have pre-sales 1 to 2 weeks out on products that were coming out from the mints. And I was like, why can't I experiment with that also? And, that's really how it works, is that the mints give you a certain time frame to sell a coin and to try and pre-sell it. And they're not really expecting you to pre-sell it onto the market. Sometimes they have a closed channel pre-sell where they only want the dealers to commit to X amount of coins. Mm-hmm. But the point is that you're given a certain time frame, 1 to 2 weeks notice of when a release is coming out, like from the Perth Mint or from some of these other mints around the world. And so that time frame that you're given, 1 to 2 weeks, you can either post up a coin and you can collect immediately, or you can choose to collect when the coin comes in hand. And when I was doing it, there was actually no one that was doing it in a way where you were collecting the funds later on when the item used to come in. And this is something that kind of came along later, where people were like, okay, we'll pre-sell an item, but we'll wait until the item physically gets here to collect the funds.
Yeah.
If you look at the big companies, they don't do that. As soon as you do a pre-sell with AppMax,
it's gone. Your money is right.
Yeah, your funds are immediately gone. But it's a big company, and you put your trust into it, and so I didn't really want to start the whole pre-sale thing until I had gained a lot of followers and trust and that kind of thing, and people had seen my come through. I guess that's the word, is that you ship a coin, or you do a sale, and between 1 and 2 days you get that item shipped out, and they get their item quickly. And so before I could really jump into the pre-sale market, I had to at least gain a following and a certain amount of trust. Mm-hmm. And I see guys now that try to pre-sell, that are newer sellers. They start selling immediately, and the new method is basically that you put a coin up for pre-sale and you collect the funds later on. And that was kind of a competition for me, because I would start to see these guys that were claiming that they could pre-sell an item, but they wouldn't collect the funds until it came in hand. And so that was kind of something that I had to compete against. And when everything's said and done, that method doesn't really work on the pre-sale end. And the reason for that is because when you go to collect for an item, whether it's 1 or 2 weeks or a month later, people have different things going on, and they have their jobs. They might have lost their job. They might have had a wife that's sick, or kids that are sick, and they have to pay for their school or whatever it is. Things come up in life, and it's tougher to collect later on because these people put up their hands when the product comes in, and they act like they don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's a tough model if you collect later on, and so we've always trusted in the fact that if we have a product for sale, we either collect a deposit on it or we collect some sort of funding in order to get that person to commit to the item. And then, even if it's not payment in full, we at least have some money down that makes them come back and pay the full amount.
Sure.
And that has been successful for us, rather than, relying on chance or trust that that person might come through. But yeah, I do see that, the pros and cons behind it. There's mint delays. There's a lot of factors that do come up. And that's really the struggle, is that we have to keep track of when the mint is going to deliver an item versus when we're going to have it ready for the customer. And sometimes we predict that an item might take 2 or 3 weeks. And in your case, like the tiger, it took almost 6 months or whatever.
No, it was long. It was longer. I think it was like, I think I ordered it right around like a Thanksgiving time. And then like a couple months later, I'm like, Sean, any word on it? And you're like, it's supposed to be any time now or whatever. And then a couple months later, Sean, anything? And it just kept getting pushed off. And then it got to the point where you're like, I'm going to just send you back your money because I don't know what the deal is with them. And then literally the next day, you're like, they just got them. Like, they're ready if you want to send me the money. I'm like, all right. It was like 9 months.
For one day, and then it came back to me. And then I said, I shipped it right after that. So it was like a bouncing back and forth for a little bit there.
And I knew it wasn't your fault, like I know some of these mints, they have issues. Sometimes they mint a whole bunch of stuff, and then there's like some sort of issue with the quality control, and they have to redo them.
This is kind of a little segue here, is that if you're buying anything on the consumer level pre-sale, or if you're buying anything really online or Instagram or Facebook, you should be keeping a log or a spreadsheet of everything that you're buying. Mm-hmm. And keep good records of what you're paying for, just because, if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to keep track of all your investments and your purchases and when it's coming in. But the guys that I know that really buy these pre-sales, they're really good about keeping track of, if I put something up, right now is August, it's going to come in September. They put on their spreadsheet, this is coming in September. And if it doesn't come in September, they message me and they hammer me for it, and I say, oh, the mint has a delay or whatever. It's going to come in October or November. And so most people are pretty good about it, but some people just forget that they bought something, and then months go by. And then, the thing is, I want people to be on the same page as me. I'm fully responsible for their item, and I'm going to come through with the item no matter what, or you're going to get your money back, or you're going to get an item that you paid for no matter what. And so we always come through with whatever we're selling. And, we try to be very upfront and follow through with that. So,
no, you do a good job. If you didn't do this very well, I would not have had you, on the channel, and I wouldn't continue to buy from you, which leads me to my next question. I know that you were just at the ANA show, and you got to see some really cool upcoming releases. One of the things that you were discussing with me was this like one coin that like you've never really seen before or done in a particular way. It was just, it was really, really cool when you were describing it to me. So what were some of the coins that you saw at the show that you're really most excited about?
So we saw a few coins. We had a meeting with Germania, and we had a few meetings with the European mints, and I saw some of them that were just mind-blowing as far as the amount of detail and the amount of intricate minting techniques that these mints have come out with. CIT is actually one of them, and a lot of their coins are very expensive, and it puts people off because of how expensive the coins are. But some of these coins actually take like 2 to 3 weeks to make. I mean, the minting is on there on the minting press doing the little details for 2 to 3 weeks. People are doing different parts of the coin to get it to the finished product that you see. And of course, the design behind some of these coins is 6 months to a year, sometimes 2 years in advance. And so that's really remarkable. And the last one that I saw was actually it's a Grand Canyon coin that CIT made, and it's got like this cutaway, the canyon. I'm sure you'll be able to show a picture if I'll send you some pictures or a video. But it's basically just a remarkable coin of how deep the depth of the canyon is, and it really shows a level. It's called topography, is the name of the coin. It's a topography coin, and so it really shows the essence of what a bird's eye view would be of the Grand Canyon. And then when you look at closer, you see so much detail on the canyon, and it's carved out, and on the back it's just the queen the king, because it's the king now, flat on one side, not as high relief, but on the other side it's like almost like a valley, or it's cut through. It's just so amazing.
I didn't want to say anything because sometimes these coins are under embargo and can't be seen or shared. So I didn't want to say that you showed me a picture of it. That's what I was saying. Oh,
everything that I'm discussing, I'm not going to get my head chopped off. If
okay.
I have my head still here. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a cool coin, the Grand Canyon one, and then you had sent me the Ghostbusters coin, which I had sold to some people in my private group, and the release was like $249 or $245 was like the price that they paid for it through me, and now like you said, you showed me they're going for like $530, $540 on eBay.
Oh, I want to say it's probably the best turnaround coin besides the gangster series. We know that that you've talked about that on your channel. 200 to 300 becomes a $500 to $600 coin, but this one was kind of a surprise, because there's a lot of shape coins out there that have shapes and colors and themes that are licensed, like Star Wars, but this one is Ghostbusters. And really the selling point of this coin is that it comes in that original Ghost toy case, just like some of those Back to the Future cars and everything. So the toy itself kind of sells the coin, and it's huge. I mean, I saw it in person. The box is like a shoebox, very, very big size. You won't be able to ship that, smaller than a medium box flat rate USPS. It's a gigantic coin. I'm sorry, it's a case.
Right.
The coin is 2 ounce, but the case is freaking ridiculously huge.
I didn't realize that it was part of a series, and when you said like there's going to be, I think, 3 or 4.
Yes, there's a few more. I can't talk about which ones are coming out because those details are on embargo from that particular mint in Australia. But it is going to be a series, and it's going to be a really killer series. I mean, I sold this coin initially on my private group for around the $200 range, and then it became, like you said, a $250 coin, and then it became a $500 coin. And so who knows where it's going next. But, those auction prices, too, on eBay, not just buy it now. Auction prices, I think, and it wasn't even closed, was $540. So,
wow.
It's going to the moon.
Crazy to the moon. Crazy. I wanted to also ask you, too, because you have another service, which I haven't taken advantage of, only because my selling model is a little bit different, but I know that it's very convenient for some, and that is you send coins on behalf of your customers to NGC for a very nominal fee, and you also have like your own private black label. So I just kind of wanted you to talk about that real quick for our viewers.
So any coin that we sell, pre-sell, or if it's something that we have for sale, as long as it's a coin and it's not a bar or round, as long as it's a sovereign coin, because that's really the requirements of NGC, is that the coin is minted by a sovereign mint, or it's minted by a reputable mint like Germania or Carpathian Mint, or some of those bigger mint names that they recognize. As long as it's minted by a major mint, it will be able to be slabbed. And we charge a pretty small fee. It's about $29 to grade the 1 ounce coins, and it's around $49 to grade the 2 ounce, 3 ounce, 5 ounce, even up to some sizes of kilos, which are gigantic slabs, they still fall in that $49 range. The only time that a coin is like really, really expensive to grade is if the dimensions are kind of like that tiger coin, where it's like a square rectangle that's just mind-blowingly big.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking gigantic, those painting-sized coins. Those ones are going to fit in NGC's mega slabs, which are about $350 to grade. But that's a very rare. I mean, how many coins do you see like that are this big? Most of them
Right.
are 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, 5 ounce, kilo. And so we grade those, and we offer that to our customers. And we don't guarantee the grade. We leave it as a random thing where we're not saying, oh, this is going to be a 70 or whatever it is. We leave the grading to the grading company. It's a random grade that they give. We try to submit. We don't submit garbage. We look at the coin before we submit it, and we kind of screen it just to say, oh wow, this is a crappy ABMEX coin with a million dings on it. We're not going to submit that because it's going to be a 65 or 66.
Mm-hmm.
But we try to submit, stuff that we think will be 69 or 70 at least, and we put those to NGC. Right now the turnaround is ridiculous on NGC. I mean, it tells you that there is a huge demand for modern coins right now. Because the turnaround time is now 41 days, working days, to get a coin graded. And it was never that long before. We used to submit coins. They would take about 1 to 2 weeks from NGC. We live in Florida. We would get 1 day delivery from UPS. And so, 2 or 3 weeks later after we submit, the coin would be done and it would be in the mail to customers. Now it takes 41 working days to get a coin graded, which if you break that out into weeks, that's 8 weeks or 2 months. And that's not counting the time it gets to NGC or the time that it ships back. So it's about 2.5, almost 3 months to get a coin graded now, which is a bad thing for our model because we want to get customers coin graded quick. But it's a good thing to show where the market is, to tell you that people are grading these coins and they're going nonstop. This is a huge business for not only companies but also for collectors that want to get their coin certified to prove that it is a genuine, authentic coin, and also to show that this is a collectible coin of the highest nature. And when you put an MS70 or a PF70 on a coin, you sometimes can see on eBay, they fetch $100, $200, $300, sometimes $500 more.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that Al Capone coin that sold for $400, $500. And an NGC slab, we sold one for over $1,000. And my good friend, Emil Kamar, Emil,
Yeah.
Husky, right? I sold him one of these Disney 10 ounce, the big 10 ounce
I saw
Disney
the
coin.
MS70.
And so that coin, I think we originally sold to him about $800. I graded it for him, put it in the NGC slab, and he's one of only maybe 2 to 5 people that have a 70. That coin he has right now on eBay around $5,000. And people have sold them for $5,000, believe it or not. A coin that costs $700, they've sold for $5,000. So, I mean, the comps are out there. People are selling these coins for ridiculous money. Even though I think the whole grading concept, if you asked me a year or two ago, I would say, oh, that's a gimmick. That's stupid. Why would you grade a coin, especially a modern coin, when there's millions of these coins? But the truth is that, we put 69s up on odd coins like Korea Tauruses or some weird coin like the Chiwu, and there's only 1 or 2 69s on eBay, and we'll be able to sell those coins for 125 or 150, and we pay to grade them maybe 30, 40, $50 at the max.
Right.
So we're money on coins even in 69 grade, and so it's a good service. But I did want to kind of segue that into another line that we're doing, and we partnered up with a company that is offering the real money. So this is my personal label done by FITA, and it's the real money label. As you can see, this is one of the coolest coins from last year. This is the Golden Eagle from Samoa.
Yep.
It's got a really leaf to it, and so we got it slabbed. But we have our own custom label on it, which is real money. I think that what got me into the precious metals industry was that people used to come and talk to me at the booth, and they used to talk to me about paper money is not real money. This is not this paper money that you have in your hand, this fiat currency. You can burn it. It's once you burn it, it's gone. There's not a real element to it. It can be put in the bank. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we trust it, but it doesn't have any inherent value. It doesn't last forever. It's not what you would call God's money or something that is infinite. And so gold and silver is, real money. It's infinite money. It's the real deal. And that's, I decided to put that on my slab label because I think that's the concept that has got many people into this industry, even though it might be a gimmicky concept that, precious metals are real, but paper money is not real. But the truth is, this is more real at the end of the day than stuff that may disappear one day, right?
Right. And also, it is, you got to think too, it's not necessarily a gimmick to this market. The people that are buying these coins and the silver and the gold are the people that believe that precious metals are real money and that the fiat system and fiat currency is essentially just, a house of cards and they don't necessarily trust it. And so I don't necessarily think that having that, real money slabbed, title or whatnot or label, I don't think that that's gimmicky at all. It's everybody in this
right.
hobby believes that precious metals are real money. So I think it's cool. I think it's a really good idea.
We've also done it with some older coins. Let me give you a look at the Peace Dollar here. Done it with Peace Dollar. Done it with the Morgan.
Yeah.
We're trying it, with different types of coins, but we're also doing a limited population. So like this Samoa Eagle, there's only 50 that are made, and they come with like these certificates.
Nice. So let me ask you, if somebody wanted to get those from you, like where would they find that? Just on Instagram? How would they get these?
You can PM me or message me on Facebook or Instagram. We have sold them as private sales on our group, but these are coins that we have some extras of that we're willing to sell. We put them on eBay and they've fetched some really crazy money on eBay. But we have extras of them. We're gonna try and do at least a couple, 2 to 3 different releases every few months of some of the modern coins, and only do them in limited populations of about 30 or so. And I think it's going to catch on. It's one of those things where I'm not. It's not the only thing I'm doing. Obviously, we're doing tons of sales and pre-sales of different mints all around the world, and that's really our main business. But I really do like the custom slabs and the fact that you can have a label that is a limited edition label, and that's what we're pushing with this. So
I think it's a very good idea. And I think that this was a great conversation, and again, I've enjoyed working with you for the last 4 years, and I'm delighted that you were able to come on here and show yourself to the world. And I think that as long as you continue to do what you're doing on Instagram and on Facebook and everything, I think that you're going to continue to just grow that audience. And I'd like to have you on again real soon.
Definitely, man. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, and I really enjoy all your videos. And I want to give a shout out to you as well. I believe in your channel. I think I've always been a Star Wars fan at heart, and I'm a little kid at heart, and that's what got me into your channel to begin with. Was that you would, back in the day, you would only wear the Stormtrooper helmet. No one saw your face, and so you used to hide behind it, but you took it, and you just like I'm taking my helmet off. You can see my head now. This is me. I took my helmet off. This is Sean DSouza.
There you go.
I'm found face, and I'm glad that this was something that you could invite me into. And I hope that you invite more sellers that you trust. I know this is something that you're doing this week, trying to get your friends and your sellers that you've done a lot of business with onto the channel and to promote them. And I think that's a great thing that you're having us here. So thank you.
Absolutely, buddy. And I'll be talking to you real soon about the John Dillinger coin, because I want that coin. So give me that coin.
Promise it's next month, no later.
Sounds good, buddy. Thanks again.
Take care, man. Bye bye.
All right, so it was great having Sean on the channel, and I will bring him on again at some point in the near future. But yeah, very good guy. I definitely recommend that you guys check him out. Make sure you tell him that Stormy sent you, and let me know if you've ever bought from Sean before, or have you ever purchased your precious metals from social media sellers aside from myself. Let me know in the comments.